what's happening, people? First of all, first time meeting everyone, which is amazing. So everyone's here in person. How this is gonna work, we're gonna go straight into an introduction, which you guys have already done. If you haven't said hello, just say hello to whoever you haven't said hello to. Then we'll go into Q4, how to find your first winner. A lot of you guys, put your hands up if you have not found a winner yet. So we're working with quite a few. A few of you guys have seen the winners, so what we'll do then is we'll go into Q4, how to scale and how to scale to 7 figures. So break that down, it's gonna be good. Then we'll jump into a chat and a coffee break, because you might be hungry or whatnot. Then we'll go into a case study, a brand, a few of you guys may know who David is. He's going to break down, or I'm gonna break it down for him, but he scaled to 100K with one of these products. So we're gonna break down that. And then Q4 preparation and what to expect. And then ending it off with network, or just chat with each other, get everything going, and then we'll go from there. So, ready to jump into it? How to find your first winner this Q4. How it work, we'll start with just coming into it, tell you why you guys most likely have not seen your first winner, and then we'll jump into the more advanced stuff. So, this is what, timing and mindset is probably number one. You guys have so many questions, so many doubts and whatnot, so I'll break it down for you. And take your notes down, because at the end what we're gonna do is a Q&A. Any questions you may have, we'll be able to ask and go from there. And you can chat among yourselves if you want to, because it's dead quiet. So, so why haven't you found your first winner? The main thing is your mindset. You have to switch the actual mindset before you go into it. A lot of you guys have questions. It's too late to scale. I will lose money. It's not going to work, and I don't have enough time. These are things you have to get over. For example, it's too late. I found my first winner at the end of October. So literally coming into now. I did not start scaling this up till November. So if you have doubts saying, listen, it's too late to start, or I'm not gonna get that Q4 scale or whatever it is, get rid of that, because you can literally scale. You can scale to 100K in December alone. Q4, how everything works, will go crazy. This is gonna be everyone's first Q4, which is gonna be absolutely amazing. I want people to hit 7 figures, and I want people to hit their first 6 figures. So get rid of this mindset of it's too late to scale, because I've seen people scale to like 100K weeks in the space of 7 days. It is possible. Now the next one is you're going to lose money. How many people are actually scared? And you have to be honest with yourself. How many people are not getting their tests up because they're afraid to lose something? No? 1, 2, 3 as well. This one, maybe you don't want to put up your hand, but there is a lot of people that will hold off the test because they're afraid to actually invest money into the actual business. Let me tell you, you guys are building a real business. And when I say you can profit 10K a month, 20K a month, 30K a month, this is all possible. You just have to invest in it and give it everything. 3 months is all I ask now. A lot of you guys, some people have been in here 4 or 5 months. Some of you guys are completely new. Put the work in for the next 3 months till the end of the year. And I promise if you consistently put in the work, you will see results. It's simple as that. Because this business is not, dropshipping how it works, this is a real business that you guys are building. It's not if it works, it's not 50% that it will work. It will work as long as you stay consistent. So this is the most important thing you have to do. Which leads me into it's not going to work. Get rid of that mindset again. It's not going to work, or I don't want to start now because blah, blah, blah. Just go for it. Go all in. The first start to your success, the first step to your success is all in the mindset. Even with guys, even myself, when I'm pushing 6 figures, when I'm pushing 7 figures, your emotions can start playing with you. You can have thoughts, you can have doubts, you can be unmotivated. We have, a lot of people that are unmotivated and don't want to actually get up and get the work done. It's not about motivation, it's about discipline. You guys got to come in, put in the work, and the results will show. What you put in is literally what you get out. And then fair enough, for the guys who don't have enough time, how many people are in college, have jobs, or are just busy the whole day? Right, a lot of you guys. How many are in jobs? And how many are in school? With school, some people are twice. With school and with your jobs, that's fair enough right now. In school, maybe you have some time to make some ad scripts, whatever you want to do, but with the jobs and stuff like that, structure your time wisely. If you only have 3, 4, 5 hours, left in the day, structure it. Maybe sacrifice that Netflix. Maybe sacrifice that TikTok scrolling. Go all in. Spend the next 3 months, and I promise you, as long as you guys stay consistent, you will see the rewards, and it will be worth every single sacrifice that you guys have made. So that's the mindset you guys have to switch. It's very, very important. And we also have a mindset switch for coming into, your 7-figure scaling. It literally all starts. I'm going to just rant on about mindset now, because even when I started off, I had my own doubts. Even when I started off, I was scared to really get started. But the people who see success, they have all the same kind of traits, and they're almost crazy. They'll just go in. If they lose 50 euro on a test, it does not matter. They'll go in for their second test, then their third one, and they'll keep learning. Don't just get tested up for the sake of getting tested up. You're just going to lose money. Learn from each one. That's why we give you all the teachables and stuff like that. I don't make that for fun. I don't make it just to give you guys value. There's specific value in there. Every single bit of knowledge you need is going to be in there. So get into that mindset, be hungry for it, and the person who's obviously more hungry than someone else is going to see more results. It's as simple as that. So put in the work, and you're going to crush it. Next thing is consistency. We need to get these things out of the way because it's important. Consistency over motivation. A lot of you guys think it's motivation that you guys need. It's the consistency and the discipline to get it done. That's how you'll see success. Comes in, right, listen, 3 to 4 hours is all we need. Maybe a lot, maybe you can put 2 hours, maybe you can go all in with your 8 hours a day. But as long as you're averaging 3 to 4 hours daily, you're going to see great results. You have to understand, look around you. Every single one of you guys is also looking to make dropshipping work. And this is just this room. What about all the other people in Ireland, for an example, that heard dropshipping and want to go in? What about the people in the UK, the US? There's thousands, there's almost millions, I'd say, of people dropshipping, e-commerce brands, everything like that. And if you're not putting in the work, and if you're not competing with these and out-competing them, you can't expect the results. So put in the work and you'll get it done. Average input equals average results. It's as simple as that. Now the drive to make it work. This is what I'm talking about, hunger. Be hungry for it. You just want to make an actual business pushing 20, 30K profit a month? Then do it. Don't just say you're going to do it, but go for it. Get in that mindset where that's the only thing you want to do. Get in that mindset where, listen, college is not for me, or this job I'm not that happy, so I'm going to go and give everything that I possibly can to go ahead and make this work. And you will make it work. So that's mindset, very important. Now, why your products are not selling. This is a very important one for you guys, or for the guys who haven't seen that big success yet. Right, it all starts with your product. If your product is some stuff like I've seen people try to run AliExpress products that are just no validation or anything like that. I've seen just stuff you can buy in the shops. It all starts with your product. If you don't sell something that people want, why is anyone going to buy from you? It's as simple as this. Coming in, look, this right here is the case study that I'm going to do. It's a collagen mask. What does it do? It like reverses aging. It creates this problem, or it solves this problem that you could sell on. You can't sell a pair of shoes or this piece of paper because it's just not different. You get what I'm trying to say? So your product, it all starts in the product. Then we're going to break it down. It comes into ads just as important. But starting off, the product needs to be different, right? Every single product that you test, someone else is scaling that. Every single product that you see, someone is making it work. So you have to understand, the first thing is, if you give up on a test, it's not because the product didn't work and it's not a winning product. It's because you did not find the correct setup for that product. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So a lot of you guys will just say, okay, listen, I'm going to cut it. But if you put enough input and enough effort, you will make that product work. And that's why we say, listen, cut and move to a different product, because some products may take 2 grand to make work. You have to test for 2,000 euro and test all these different things before you can get some scale. Some products hit off the first test. I know, Vic, you hit off what? Boom, and what was your ROAS first day? Like 9 ROAS, right? So this is what I mean. Some products will hit off with over 9 ROAS, some products will take time to grow, and some products will take, a few weeks to grow. So every single product that you test will sell. It's just about how much time do you have to actually put into the product. Is it better for you to move to a different product because you'll be able to see more results? But know that every single product you test can work. Now, your product needs demand. This is what I'm saying. You can't sell just normal stuff. And again, a lot of you guys already know this information, but I'm gonna go put it back into your head because this is what's needed to go ahead and scale. You can't sell products that no one wants. You can't sell a bottle of water because people can go to the shops and get it. You have to sell stuff that's not widely available, right? It goes into my next point. It's not available in shops. Be different with your products, right? When you're going ahead and you're doing your product research, have a look at exactly, break it down step by step. Ask yourself, can I buy this in pennies? Can I buy this in Boots? And if it's a yeah, then you're probably better off looking for something else. But make sure it's unique. You can't go to the shops, because why would someone buy off your store, wait 11 days or 9 days or 7 days when they could go 2 minutes up the shop and just buy it like that for probably half the price? So it needs demand, and it's not available in local shops. This is very important. Now, most of us have seen success in beauty. This is what we've taught you. Run beauty products, run cosmetics. Why? Because women just like to buy more, right? You sell, like, I'm not saying like men's products don't work. I'm not saying that this product won't work. I know you're selling something that's not in the beauty niche, but beauty is where we see the most success, because girls, women, they like to invest in their beauty. People spend thousands on this stuff. And if we come in and sell a product that's €14, that's better than all this other designer stuff, they'll just hand us the money for it. So good product, not available in local shops, and it has to be different, and beauty. That's what we like to do. Now, listen, if your product solves a good problem, which leads me into my next point, it has to solve a problem. If your product does solve a problem and it's not available and it knocks off every single one of these and it's not beauty, that's fine. I've seen a lot of you guys run a male kind of product. Probably a lot of you guys seen it. It was the hair growing one. I'd say about half this room I've tested that. But that's an example. That was a great product. The reason why it didn't work is probably because everyone tested it. But you see what I mean? You don't have to necessarily do just women products. Just be creative with it. Right, next thing, we're going into validation. What we taught in the guides was look for those upward charts, but I'm going to break it down for you if you don't understand. When you're looking for an upward chart, what it is, I don't have a photo, but literally just like an upward chart, it means the product is starting to scale. So when we were selling in the big five, which is the US and all these bigger countries, what we would do is look for these kind of graphs. And this is how I found one of my biggest winners, was we found the graph and it was going up, but it was still kind of early. So how we test in the big five is you find like an upward, like more of a trend, which you can turn into an actual brand, but you find these trends and then you go all into it. And it's a race of time, because there's probably 100 different people that will all try sell this product. We're not doing this, for example, in local markets. Why? Because there is not a lot of competition, except everyone here. You guys are literally competing against yourself, but there's so many products. Listen, it's okay. But when you're going into the US and the UK, for an example, when someone sees a product that's working, they're looking at, listen, this product will make me 30K profit a month. And they don't care. They're going to test it. They're going to be quick with it. So that's why we were saying, listen, look for those upward trends, but you don't need to do that anymore. An upward trend is still good. It still means the product is selling, but you need to look for other, stuff like that. Like, I know a lot of people, Dan, for example, with your first product, that wasn't an upward trend, was it? No. It was, you found it on something else. Yeah. Vic, what was yours like? All right, so you don't have to look for these upward trends. What you have to look for is this. It sells well on Amazon. One of the biggest things you have to understand, even when people see your products on your ads, they will search you up on Amazon for the exact same product and buy off there. Amazon is the e-commerce thing. Like, everyone will buy off Amazon. How many people buy from Amazon? Everyone. I buy from Amazon all the time. It's reliable, it's quick shipping, it's probably really cheap. Go to Amazon, search up your product, have a look for this. Now, a lot of you guys understand this already, but I'm just gonna go over it again. Look, this one is, for example, what David found. Collagen mask, crushed it. 30 reviews, 400 bought in the last month. What does that mean? It means that it's a newer product, it doesn't have enough reviews, and then a lot more people are coming in. If you go ahead and search up on a normal Amazon listing, the reviews will be like 10,000 and 1,000 bought in the last month. So you just switch it around and you'll understand that 400 bought in the last month with 30, look, I'll zoom in for you now, 30 reviews. What does it mean? It means it's a new product that's come to the market. Go look at Amazon UK if you're running to Ireland. Now, you can't do Amazon IE because there's just not a lot of products on there. So have a look at UK. This is very important. If you have this, if you're doing product research and your product is starting to pop off, you've literally found yourself a winner. And this is what I mean. Excuse me. When I was going ahead and I was having a look at upward trends, I literally knew it was a winning product. And this is the mindset, again, you have to instill. Every single product test that you go into, be confident with it. You can't come into a test, give 20% input and expect to go scale to 100K a month. No, you have to go in and be confident with it and have this mindset, it's going to work. And when you start to believe it, that's exactly when it starts to happen. So, validation points. Amazon is number one. Find your product, search it up. If it's selling well, That's good. Then it has to have good angles. This is a really important one. This is something that we start to learn and we started to switch up to. Before we just run, basic UGC, and UGC, when you see, US UGC and you sell it to a local market like Ireland, this is why we say go to AI ads. You're not going to see the results because the customer cannot relate. It's as simple as that. So what I mean by good angles is you need to make these angles on AI, and you have to think about it first. What angles could I sell an iPhone with? If it was the first time someone knew an iPhone, there's loads of angles. But if I tried to sell any one of you guys an iPhone, you already know what it is. There's no good angle that's new. When you're finding a product, for example, the collagen masks, what are the angles here? It reverses aging, gets rid of wrinkles, it makes you look 20 years younger. What else? Do you get what I'm trying to say? So when you find a product, don't just look for it's an upward trend or if it has good sales. See what angles you can create from it. And when you can go ahead and think of 8 different pockets and 8 different angles and 8 different audiences that you can sell to, that's a great product to go ahead and start scaling. And the last one, and then we'll move on from this, is lots of content available. You cannot make good ads if there's no content for your product. I've seen people will go ahead and send me great products and they're amazing. I think they'd scale. But if they have no content, it's very hard for you to go ahead and make good ads because it's not so much about your product, it's about your ad. So content is really important as well. So coming into your cost of goods and offer, this is going to be, it's a bit more now. So you have your basic validation points. You know how to find a good product. Again, we're looking at Winning Hunter and stuff like that. I'll break that down into the next slide. But your cost of goods, don't sell a product that's overpriced. People, the reason why dropshipping works, or the reason why, of course you can sell good products, but the reason why what we do works is because people don't think when they buy. They just straight impulse, it's a good product, and then they can go ahead, buy 10 more, for an example. Your cost of goods, when you search it up on AliExpress, if you've never made a sale yet, go get your cost of goods on AliExpress, that's fine. Make sure your cost of goods are no more than 3, 4, 5 euro. Because on AliExpress, so overall it's going to be about 8 euro. But if you're selling a product with a price of 20 euro to go ahead and sell, it's very hard for you to go ahead and sell just like a 50, 60 euro product. You have to come in with a bit more of a different angle. People are more easy, they'll be much easier to just go ahead and buy a 20 euro product. And then when you mix that with good angles and a product that actually does a good job and it helps them and it solves their problem, they'll give you the 20 euro, no problem. So this is really important because don't come in and start selling 60 euro products. You can definitely do it, but it's much harder. Then your offer, one of the most important points, and even for you guys that are scaling, your offer is so important. Offers will change a business. You can go ahead, you can be unprofitable because of your offer, and once you actually go ahead and change it, you can go ahead and start scaling like crazy. So before you go ahead and test a product, see what kind of offer your product can be made with. Can I sell 3 of them? Is it cheap enough if I bundle 3 of them and I can do a buy 2, get 1 free? Is it better to do a buy 1, get 1 free? If you're just selling an odd product where you can't really bundle anything and people don't want more than one, it's hard to make a good offer. And when you mix in a good offer with a good product and good ads, that's exactly how you scale. Now, where to find products? I'm going to break this down because every single one of you guys, if you watch the Teachables, you already understand how to find products. Again, Amazon, browse around, be creative with it. Don't just look for, oh, it's a good product that has this and that. Go actually break it down. See if people will buy it. Go ask your friends and family, listen, this is a product I want to sell. Would people buy it? Then go ahead and start thinking about your angles. Then boom, that's a good product. Winning Hunter. I'll break down the filters now for you guys. And then you'll go into that. But Instagram and Amazon, these are organic ways. My first winner I found on Instagram stories. I was scrolling along, or Instagram Reels, sorry. I was scrolling along and it had loads of engagement. And basically loads of engagement is just another way of saying it's selling already. So go ahead and have a look, Instagram, Amazon, be creative with it. But then the main way where most of you guys are starting to see success or seeing success is Winning Hunter. Breaking down these filters for you, just if you don't actually understand it. Just as simple as this, right? Your countries are your big 5. US, UK, Canada, New Zealand, and Australia. Why are we trying to find ads in these countries? Because these guys will be a lot more ahead in dropshipping and e-commerce than Ireland or the EU, for an example. So have a look here. This is where the winners are found. And basically all you do is take a product from the big 5, bring it to Ireland, and you'll be able to make it work with your good angles. Website to Shopify. So you're getting rid of all these, basic stores, all these other ones that are not actually drop shipping. Language you can leave, active ad sets leave, ad spend leave, sort by winners. Mess around with this stuff. You can sort by the date, you can sort by winners. Have a look. Again, you're not just looking for that upward trend, you're looking for a product that can actually work. Just have a look at it. Like don't look at the charts. Look at if the product is a good product. Have a look if I can sell this, if it has good angles, and then you're gonna see much more success. Scaling leave off, media type videos. Again, most people that are actually scaling in dropshipping, 9 times out of 10, they're running video ads as their main source. A lot of people do run image ads, but video ads is gonna help you and filter down a lot. Page type leave, ad score leave, niche leave, ad creation date, just one for the new guys, and then we'll jump into some more advanced stuff. But when you're starting off in dropshipping and you're starting to use Winning Hunter, ad creation date basically means how long ago the ad was created, right? It's quite simple. We like to do a month before and 7 days from today's date. Why? Because if you started the ad creation date within the last 7 days, for example, you're getting ads that have been made in the last 7 days, and 9 times out of 10, those ads are testing ads. Yes, of course, you have big brands that are starting to upload new ads, and they'll also get filtered in, but 9 times out of 10, you're getting testing products, and that's not a good validation point. You can't test a product that's already testing. You're gonna be like a 50-50. If you want the best chance, sell what already sells. And that's gonna be an easy way. So that's why we do 7 days before. And then the last seen date basically means this ad, we set this in the last 24 hours. It basically means this ad has been seen in the last 24 hours. It means it's active. No brand is gonna be scaling a product if the ads are not active. If the ads are off, it's not running. So product creation date, reach, days running, product price range, doesn't matter. So this is the thing. Again, if you guys need it again, just take a photo or I'll send it into the groups later. But I know a lot of you guys already understand this stuff, so. Going into the more important stuff. How important are your ads? This is one of the main reasons. You guys will find a winning product. You will find a product that sells very well, but you won't be able to make it work, and you'll have a look, your click-through rates are probably like under 1%, and it's because of your ads. You have to understand this at beginning and at scale as well. The first 3 seconds of your ad is the first thing a customer sees. So it's not necessarily your product, it's literally your ad. Think about it, right? Your customer's journey, they've never heard about your brand before. They've never got an email before. The first introduction to your brand is the first 3 seconds of your ad. So what we like to do now is actually start to change it up. Find your product, don't even make your website, jump straight into ads. It's literally the most important thing. Don't go ahead and start spending 10 hours on a website. Go ahead and make good ads first and then go into the website. Literally, right? You could have the most perfect product, it matches every single validation point, it will sell like crazy, but if your ads are not good, you are getting 0 sales. And I'm going to show you exactly how, because a lot of you guys will test products and you don't actually know how to see if your ads are bad. I'm gonna break down every single metric for you, so it's very important. But we have to get the understanding behind what is working first, because once you understand that, and once you have the clarity and you understand how to actually dropship properly, then you're going to go ahead and crush it. So it's the first thing people see, and brands literally, one of my brands was at like a 1 ROAS and it was unprofitable, but we kept pushing through it, and we took that to a 1.8 ROAS based off ads, no offer change, no product images, no change of product. We took it from a 1 that was performing terribly to a 1.8, and 1.8 for us at scale was profitable, and that was all because of ads. 8 ads minimum a day. When you're scaling, go push 40 ads a day. These are what your competitors are doing, so dial in your ads, know how to make good ads, and make a lot of them, and that's literally all you need to scale. So this is the testing system, or the testing ad system for your products. Very straightforward. Again, we went through it before, but I'm gonna break it down for you guys so you understand it to the T. Visuals, 8 creatives a day, and your script. Starting with your visuals. Use stock and use UGC. A lot of you guys, I've seen beginners, right? You go ahead and actually run like UGC content. Again, as I was explaining at the start, when you run UGC, American UGC, Australian UGC, and you run it to a local market like Ireland, people cannot relate. If you see an ad that's a US accent, they're just gonna swipe off. Now, when you go ahead and start diving into hooks with AI, for example, and you can relate to the customer, that's when they stop. So visuals, right? Use stock and UGC. I've seen a great ad where, let's say someone is actually talking about Ireland, then they'll show a clip of Ireland. Then listen, who's not gonna stop? Ireland's what, 5 million population. If someone mentions the word Ireland, they're gonna stop and watch the 3 seconds. And if you can hook them in for the first 3 seconds, they'll watch the rest of the ad. And I'll break this down as we go. But use stock and use UGC clips. There's so many websites. You can even find UGC on just search up free videos to use or commercial videos and you can get a bunch of stuff. Match the visuals with the script. This is very important. One of the biggest things you have to understand is when you run an ad, you have to be able to sell the product without an audio. Think of it like this, right? If there was no audio, there was no script, and the only thing the customer saw was visuals, you need to still be able to sell that product with just visuals. And if you can do that, and if you know that this product or this ad is good, and people would still buy because of your visuals, then they're the visuals you need. So match the visuals with the script as well. So if you're talking about, again, for example, if you mention Ireland, or if you mention boots, that relates to the customer, then go ahead and show a video of this stuff. If you go ahead and mention the product itself, applying it to your face, for example, then go ahead and show that visual. It makes things a lot easier and you're basically selling through the visuals alone. And then visuals of results. 8 creatives a day. Moving on to this one. Very, very important. A lot of you guys will come in with your five ads, which we did teach. Minimum is 5 creatives, but if you want the biggest results, go to your 8. Spend time, literally spend the whole day breaking down every single creative. And when I say 8 creatives, it doesn't mean 1 creative and you change the hook and that's it. 8 creatives means 8 different scripts, 8 different visuals, 8 different call to actions. And if you can do that, you literally target every single pocket. That's all you need. Why invest and put 10% in your actual, your basic UGC ads and then you just give up on the product? Just think about it, get into the mindset. Every single product you test literally has the chance to go and make you 20K profit a month. And you're literally just giving up on that because you didn't have time or you didn't want to input 8 creatives a day or 8 creatives on your product test. So once you understand that, that's exactly, I'm going to teach you exactly how you're going to literally print off dropshipping here. So 8 creatives, all different angles. If you send me your creatives and they're all the same angle, just with a little hook change or a visual change, just going to say do it again. So do it properly, go 100% in, and you're going to crush it. Seriously, if you run 8 creatives, all different angles, you're going to hit. It's as simple as that. Your hook, your body, CTA. Keep it simple. 3-second hook. If you can hook, that's the most important thing. If you can hook them in, they'll watch the rest of the thing. Or they'll watch the rest of the body and then the call to action. Body, you give the customer your solution or your product, or you give your customer the problem and then you give them the solution in the body. Keep it simple, don't yap on. I've seen ads that are, some of you guys send in 1 minute and 30. I can't even watch that, I'm gonna be bored. Keep it simple, keep it minimal. Don't add stuff that people don't wanna listen to. And if you can do that, boom. Then you add in with the call to action. Don't just do your basic call to action, shop now, 50% off. That makes me bored. Call to actions need to be listened. We have 50 units left because everyone is buying them up. If you want, you can go ahead and get yours today, but we can't promise you. We'll give you 1 free bottle if you jump on it now. That's a better call to action. And we'll break down how you can judge your hooks, your bodies, and call to actions later down the line. Then your script. Find your biggest, right, this is for people who are starting to test. If you already have a product, you're already going to understand a bit. You have to also understand, you're trying to sell a product that is already ran by a brand who probably has already 200K ad spend behind that product. They understand the product 1,000,000 times more than you do. So this is why I'm saying 8 different tests, because you don't know what works. You're testing a wide variety of angles, and it's the best way to find something that works, because you seriously, you don't know. I don't even know what works when I test my first products. So find your biggest insecurities and problems. Claude AI, ChatGPT, Ask the Public, whatever that one was. Type in your product, see why people want this product. For example, if it's like sun cream, you type it in, you find the biggest insecurities. It stops damage from sun. People don't get skin cancer if they put on sun cream, something like that. People protect themselves from sun damage. And these are all different angles you can make. That's 3 angles just off sun cream. So this is what you have to do. You don't just pick one angle and make 8 different ads. It's just, you're basically running one ad. And this is the new Facebook, the Facebook update as well. If you guys are running one ad and you start making more ads based off that ad that are similar, and they're kind of based around the same visuals, the same script, Facebook will now take it and bunch it as one ad. So the new way of coming into it is breaking up and coming in with new angles. And that is exactly how, because I've seen literally every single one of you guys go into testing. Yes, bar 1 or 2 will go ahead and start seeing some great success straight off the bat. But a lot of you guys take some time to go make a product work, and that's because of new angles. So this is the script you want to do. Be creative with it, use AI. Don't try to do this on your own, but be creative with it. Sit down, think, and see how your product could actually sell. And if you can do that, you'll have no problems. Now, structuring your ad. Again, listen, this stuff is, if you can just take this knowledge today, you'll go home and you won't just be stuck, you'll understand exactly how to dropship, and then the only thing you need to do is go ahead and implement what I'm teaching. I'm not standing up here for the next 2-3 hours to just yap. This is like serious stuff that if you just implement it, you will get ahead. Is this it? Like, you've already made the first step in getting here. Like, people seriously can't even get themselves to the stuff that I'm breaking it down. You guys want it. You guys want it the most. That's why you're here. Bar 1 or 2 who actually couldn't make it, but just literally download this stuff, put it into your mind, and you'll be fine. So structuring your ad. Hook, again, is one of the most important points. And this is even important for you guys who are scaling to the bigger numbers. Hook, body, call to action, right? What does your hook do? It's the most important part. As I was explaining, 3 seconds. If you can't hook the customer, it's gone. If you can hook them for 3 seconds, they'll watch the body, and then you just break it down, give them the problem and the solution. And then it's the easy part. That's the hard part. So hook, we'll start with the hook. Customer needs to understand you. Then we went ahead and we broke down Claude AI. So again, a lot of this stuff, the trainings is in teachables, but the hook is very important, right? If your customer doesn't understand you and cannot relate to you, then they're just gonna keep scrolling. So we've seen great success. People have seen great success when they mention stuff that relates to the customer. For example, when you're selling to the Irish market, you can relate to one of, like, a great hook that was working was like, 50% of Irish women didn't understand this. And then once they hear, it doesn't matter about, they're giving them their problem first of all, but the thing that hooks them in is the 50% of Irish women. Then they stop and they're like, okay, wait, I'm Irish, I can relate, and then I actually have this problem. And then they'll watch the whole ad. All you gotta do is just say, listen, here's a good offer, and then they'll buy. But if the customer does not relate, another example is, for example, Boots. Everyone knows what Boots is. If you can go ahead and say something with Boots, or this product was in Boots, or I was using terrible, I don't know, you know what I mean? Then they're going to be able to understand you. And then you can also do this. That was, for example, one angle that you could do. Another angle will be talking directly to the customer's problems. For example, if, let's just use sun cream for an example. If they had really bad sun damage, you could be like, listen, did you know that 90% of people with sun damage, blah, blah, blah. And then yap on, and don't yap on, but then you can go from there. So the customer, really important. Customer needs to understand you. If they don't, they're scrolling past it and you've lost another potential customer. Again, we'll break this down. This is why I'm saying when you're testing, look at your hook rates, look at your click-through rates, look at how many people are actually dropping off. Everything's in front of you. All you got to do is just apply it. Again, local markets, stuff they can relate to, problems. That's what I just explained. Irish relates. You know, if I was running to the US, for example, I could be like a US restaurant. You know what I mean? If I was selling like a food place or a food product, I could go ahead and be like, listen, Five Guys, I don't know, you know what I mean? You just got to relate to the customer. Okay, now if they stay, they'll watch the rest of the video. The hard part, as I explained about 5 times already, your hook is the hard part. If you can hook them in, they'll watch the rest of the video. Your body is the easiest part. You don't have to worry about them. As long as your hook rates are good, they'll buy. Then your call to action, just finish it off. So good benchmarks is hook rate needs to be over 30%. If it's below, you're going to be able to see that your creative is actually underperforming. Again, I'll break down all the metrics after. Your body, this explains your product. Give them a problem and then give them the solution. Again, sun damage is the problem. You buy my sun cream, it's a great product, it will do this, but then you can also, you know, it also solves the problem, and then they're like, okay, listen, I'll listen to the end. Explain what your product does and why they need it. So give them, like, the main thing is addressing the problem to them. Be like, listen, you need this product, and if you don't, this is gonna happen. Or if you don't get this, blah, 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 so on, so on. So, really important. Explain your product and explain why they need it. And then again, get straight to it. Please do not yap in your videos, because if you can't even watch a whole video, why would someone else watch it? It's as simple, like, get straight to it, get into it, tell exactly what is needed, and then you'll be flying. Your call to actions. This is, what's up, all good? Yeah, it's okay. Your call to actions. This is also very important, right? Because your hook, your call to action, your body is literally not the most important thing. But your call to actions, as I was explaining before, don't just be like, listen, 50% off, buy now. That's the old way. People could run this stuff back in 2020 and they'd see great results because there's not like competition, but you have to separate yourself. You have to do the stuff that people are not doing. Good way of call to action again is we have limited stock. Everyone is buying up. That's why thousands of people have already bought our product. If you buy today, we have a special offer before we run out and restock, we'll give you a free bottle. Boom. That's how you do a good call to action. Give them the urgency. Don't just let them and just sit them there and be like, listen, because you have to understand your customer comes and this is probably the last time they'll see your brand. So you have to get them to buy now. Give them urgency, not just to shop now. Urgency, only 100 units left in stock. If you scroll past this video, you're not buying this problem or you're not buying this product and your problem is still going to be there. You're going to wake up with that sun damage. You're going to wake up with, you know, frizzy hair, whatever it is. Give them the solution and tell them to get it now. And then again, reasons, that's another way of giving trust. One of the biggest reasons why people don't actually buy from our brand is because they don't trust the brand. So a great way of pushing that into your call to action when they're about to buy is, listen, thousands of people have already bought from us. You know, why wouldn't you buy from us? And then boom. Click-through rates have to be over 3%. If your click-through rate is underneath that or beneath that or under that, it's a great sign that you need to work on your call to actions. So business and dropshipping is actually, it's very simple. Go ahead and run a test and make sure it's a good test, 8 different creatives, and then break down step by step your hook rates, your click-through rates, and then look at the data and improve on that. That is literally all you have to do. Now, here is an actual brand that was scaled to 100K. This is going to be the case study that I'm going to break down. Click-through rates are above 3%. Now the hook rate is below that 30%. But look at the CPMs. Most of you guys are running your CPMs are like 30 to 40 euro. Basically what your CPM is, if you don't know, is how much you have to pay for 1,000 views. So if you're paying 40 euro for your CPMs, it basically means you're paying 40 euro for 1,000 views. He has a 30% hook rate and a 3% click-through rate on a 15 euro CPM. His CPC is like 20, 30 cents. He's just printing. And he could have definitely done a lot better with those cost per purchases, but it's really good. So your CPMs, if you have very high CPMs, it's not necessarily a bad thing. This is why I'm saying your CPMs are more like your third metrics. Don't look at them and cut based off your CPM and your CPC. Have a look at your CPM. If it's high and you have a very low click-through rate, that's something you need to address. But let's say if this CPM is like 3 times more, that means it costs 3 times more to get 1,000 people to watch your ad, but your click-through rate is also 9%. And lots of people are clicking through. It's not a bad thing. It's actually a very good thing because the quality of traffic is higher. Do you get what I mean? So if your CPMs are triple the price, but your CTRs are double or triple the price, it's not bad. It just means that the traffic that Facebook is sending you is much more higher quality. But if your CPMs are 40, 50 euro and your CTR still stays at 3%, you're now sitting on like a 1 or a 2 euro CPC. Maybe something to look into. So these are the metrics you really need to look into. I'm going to break it down again. I have a much bigger kind of display on what you need to look for. But your click-through rates, keep them above 3%. Hook rates above 30%. And then yeah, CPM can vary, doesn't matter. Again, I'm not really looking at CPMs and CPCs. If I'm getting sales, that's what matters. Now, testing strategy. Just going through it. I know a lot of you guys understand this, but going to break it down really quickly for you. 1 CBO, 1 ad group, 8 ads. Again, all different variations for Facebook. Keep it simple. Please don't complicate it with your specific budgets. Please don't complicate it with your specific ad groups. If your ads are good, you will make sales. It's as simple as that. 1 CBO, 1 ad group, smart creatives, whatever you're looking at these different options, just leave it. 1 CBO, 1 ad group, 8 ads. It's the same as TikTok as well. You can go ahead, run 1 CBO, 8 ads, blah, 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 so on, so on. It's quite the same for Facebook and TikTok. The way we scale TikTok is completely different, so I'm gonna break that down after. But why are we choosing a CBO over an ABO? I'm going to break down exactly the understanding so it's not copy and paste. I'm teaching you guys how to actually build an online business and understand dropshipping, because this is the first step before you see the results. Because right now, a lot of you guys will just go ahead and get up a CBO and an ad group and 8 ads. But why are you doing that? There's a specific reason. What is an ABO? Put your hands up if you know what an ABO is. Right? So CBO is basically your campaign budget optimization. You're basically telling Facebook, I'm going to give you a budget on my campaign level, right? We all know there's a campaign, you have your campaign, then you have your ad group, and then you have your ads. When it's on the CBO level, you're giving it a 50 euro budget, for an example, then you're telling Facebook, listen, spend on the best ad groups and the best ads that you think will perform the best. And yes, you can run ABOs, which is basically a bit more control, but if the ad, like the reasoning behind this is, if the ad is good, you're basically giving the the control to Facebook. Facebook has invested billions into their pixels and their optimization versus us, who are just doing a bit of drop shipping and a bit of e-commerce. Why would we try to take that control on when we can give it to Facebook? Now, a good point is, a lot of you guys feel like you're making very good creatives, but they're not getting spend. This is when your ABOs could come in. You could basically set up a campaign where you don't have a budget on your campaign, but you have the budget on your ad group. That is called an ABO. So when you set up ABOs and you want to target and test a single ad creative, you'll go ahead and put it into an ad group. So you'll have one campaign, it won't be a CBO, you'll probably have 8 different creatives, and then you could have the budget at probably like €20 a day. So it's a bit more advanced. When you're starting off and you haven't seen that proper success, CBO for you. If you want to go ahead and start testing different creatives and start seeing and take more control over your ad spend, then ad groups. But personally, when we started to scale to over 400, 500K in ad spend, we did that with CBOs, because ad groups can only go so far. You might be able to scale up an ad group on a 3, 4, 5 ROAS with €100 in spend, but at a certain point you want to go bigger. You want to go to your 10K days, your 20K days. CBOs, that's what people use, that's what we use, that's what we've seen success in. Now, going back to the ads, does it have to be 8? You can run minimum 5. It gives you broad enough thing, like a broad enough reach to all your potential customers. But if you want to see that success and you want to be different, go ahead and run 8, because it will take more time. And listen, I know it's a pain making ads, but do it now, put in the extra work, put out your 8 creatives, and you're going to give it the best chance. Of course, if you can only get 5, and if you want to go ahead and make 3 more, but it will take you the next day, just run with the 5. Minimum 5. If you're running less than 5 and you're running like 3 ads, what reach does it really get? So 8 creatives is what I like to do, but 5 can be done if you want to be lazy. But 8, aim for 8. So this is very important now. Even for the guys, everyone needs to listen to this. Reviewing your metrics. This is very important. As I was explaining, dropshipping and business is very simple. You gotta find what works and double down on it. If you don't know why your ad is not working and why your click-through rate is terrible, it's quite simple. Look at these metrics. If you don't know why you're scaling, and a lot of people will come and ask messages and be like, okay, I'm gonna cut this product. You're cutting it because you have no sales. You don't actually know why you're cutting this product. I'm gonna break down every single point, and I need everyone to listen to it. Amount spent, of course, when you run a testing, you're going to be doing 50 to 100 euro depending on your budget. Your CPC, these are third metrics. They're not, I don't cut off CPC. I don't care if I have a 10 euro CPC. I don't care if I pay a customer 10 euro to get a sale, or 10 euro for them to go on my website. If my audience is crazy and they just buy, every single person buys, then I'm happy. I'll happily pay 10 euro for a cost per click as long as they're buying. But you're not going to get 10 euro CPCs unless your ads are absolutely terrible. Sean, do you want to, there's a seat here if you want. So your click-through rates your CPC is not that important. It's a third metric. How it works is your purchase ROAS is your first metric. If you're profitable, scale off that. If you have no sales, then you have to look at your add to cart, which is a secondary metric. And then your CPC is your third metric and stuff like that. So that's how we, kind of split it up. But going through, CPC, CPM, as I mentioned, is your cost per thousands visitors. It's not that important. Click-through rate is important. The reason why I actually have the CPC and the CPM there is so you can get a broader view. If your click-through rate is lower, because some products they'll have cheaper traffic, but they'll have like lower conversion rates, but they'll just get more sales because you're getting more traffic, if that makes sense. So some people might run a CPM at like 14 euro, for an example. This is below average. That's why their click-through rates are lower. I've seen brands run at 6%, 7%. I've even seen people run at 8% click-through rates. Yes, that's great, but your CPM is probably a bit higher. So just break it down. CPC, CPM, get your average, but your main metrics and stuff like that is your purchase ROAS, your cost per purchase, your hook rate, and your cost per add to cart. So diving into this important stuff. A lot of you guys, as I mentioned, will come to me and they'll just cut a product without knowing why they cut a product. Come here. Your purchase ROAS is the amount of money you've put in and how much you've got back. So, for example, 2.61 ROAS. That means every euro you put in, you're going to get €2.60 back. So find your break-even ROAS before you go ahead and test. And let's say you have a break-even ROAS of 1.3 and you're getting metrics like this, 2 ROAS. You don't have to do anything else. Don't overcomplicate and start changing up everything. You have something that's working. Like, that's another thing. I can rant all day. why would someone go ahead, if you're starting to see success, don't change anything. Don't go change your website. Don't go change this. Go ahead and double down on what works. That's all you have to do. So if your break even is 1.3 and you're sitting on like a 2.6, what does that mean? That's scale. Go ahead and start scaling. If your ROAS is underneath that break even and it's like a 1 ROAS, is that bad? No. That means you're seeing success, you're getting metrics or you're getting results, but you just need to work a bit harder on your ads, or you just need to work a bit harder on this. This is what I'm saying. Your ROAS is your first metric. For example, if you're on a 1 ROAS, it's good. It means you're literally near enough break even. So go ahead and look then. How's my click-through rate? How's my cost per add to cart? How's my CPC? If these metrics are all low and you're sitting on like a 1% click-through rate, your CPC is like €2 and your CPM is crazy and your cost per add to carts are like €10 and you're still sitting on a 1 ROAS, you're basically found a winning product. Because all you have to do, and this is what I mean by just look at your data, is fix your click-through rates and then fix your cost per add to carts and then you'll scale. For example, if you're sitting on a 1 ROAS and your click-through rate is like a 1%, if you technically go ahead and double that to a 2% ROAS, or your click-through rate is a 2% instead of 1%, you're basically paying for half the traffic, which technically means is that if everything kind of plays out the same, you will double your ROAS because you're getting twice the amount of traffic or twice the amount of visitors for for the same price because you went from a 1 to a 2% click-through rate. So this is what I mean. Have a look, every test, every time you're scaling, have a look at your purchase ROAS. If it's break even, then have a look at your secondary metrics. If it's profitable, go ahead and scale. Now what happens if you don't actually have any purchase ROAS, you don't get any sales? Come here, come to your cost per add to carts. This is very important. How many people have their cost per add to cart set up in their metrics? One. One person has cost per add to cart set up. What is your cost per add to cart? Your next metric after your purchase ROAS. If you have no sales, you have 0 sales, so you have 0 ROAS. So you can't cut and bump based off your purchase ROAS. But what you do definitely have is your cost per add to carts. Now, if you break it down, right, you'll have how someone goes ahead and purchases is they go ahead and go to your website, they add it to the cart, they go to the checkout, and then they purchase. So basically your secondary metric, the next metric you can look at besides your ROAS is your cost per add to cart. If you're selling a product that is about €30, you have a buy 2 get 1 free, or a buy 1 get 1 free, and your AOV is like 25 to €30, your add to carts, your cost per add to carts should be below €5. So use this as a benchmark, right? I'll show you another thing where you can look at benchmarks and stuff like that. But if you have a test that's running at like a 10 or a €12 cost per add to cart, then you need to improve your offer. You need to get that lower. So you can tell literally based off all these metrics how to cut. So when someone goes, do I cut this? Do I bump this? Look at your metrics. No ROAS, that's fine. Have a look at your add to carts. Are they actually underperforming or are they overperforming? Let's say your test has 0 sales, but you actually do have a really good add to cart cost and it's €3. That's a winner right there. All you got to do is fix your offer. Maybe you have a problem in your checkout. Maybe people actually don't want to buy shipping. And then you go ahead and use this data and go ahead and make a proper offer. And then your add to carts, yeah, they stay the same or they might even get a bit better, but then you start to get purchases. So all you got to do is look at the certain metric and then you can go from there. It's the same as your click-through rates and stuff like that. If you have like 1 purchase ROAS, if you're break even and your click-through rates are like at 1 or a 2%, then improve the ad, as I was saying. If your cost per add to cart is like €3, it's good, but your cost per purchase is crazy high, go ahead and improve your offer. It's as simple as that. Now, what do you do if your test looks like this? A lot of you guys probably have seen this. Click-through rate's 2.6%, cost per add to cart is crazy high, and your cost per purchase is 0 because you have no sales. Again, if you've never seen cost per add to cart and stuff like this, go ahead, set it up in your metrics because it's very important. But what do you do here? My cost per add to cart is €7.44, and my click-through rate is not that good. I've spent €50 on this test already, and these are my metrics, and I have no sales. Just for the sake, how many people would cut this product right now? Put your hand up if you cut this product. How many people would not cut this product? All right, see, no one's actually putting their hands up. Everyone put their hands up. How many people would cut this product based off these metrics? And how many people would not cut this product? Okay, so you have to look at these metrics. 744 is your cost per add to cart. Your click-through rate is 2.5%. Is this below your average benchmark? Yes. So what can you do? Instead of just giving up on this product, because I'm looking at it like this, my metrics are overpriced. Obviously, I didn't set up something right. Maybe my offer is not correct. Maybe my ads are just not that good. So what do? I go ahead and improve it. Maybe I do cut off this campaign. Maybe I'll let it go for one more day to see if these are actually the metrics. Maybe it's just a bad day. Maybe it's Monday or Tuesday. Don't just give up on the product because it looks like this. If your cost per add to cart's like 30 euro and your click-through rate's like 2%, okay, then cut it, because 30 euro add to cart is crazy high. Again, our winning add to cart costs are below 5 euros. So if you're paying 6-7 times, even if you do make improvements and you split costs in half, you're still paying 15 euro. But if you're sitting on like a 7 euro, where if you technically cut those costs in half, then you can go ahead and be profitable, then keep running. Maybe let this one go for one more day. If you're on a tighter budget, cut this campaign, but go ahead and make better ads. Your click-through rate's only 2.5%. As we just mentioned, winning creatives will have like a 5% click-through rate. So all you got is just dive in onto that. Dive in onto your offer, because obviously not many people are buying because they're just not interested enough. You do have the validation, stuff is starting to come in, you're getting those at the carts, you maybe get a few checkouts, but people are not buying. Change up your offer. And then boom, probably the next day you'll be on a 3 euro CPA or 3 euro cost per add to cart. So very important. Again, this was for, these are your benchmarks. If you want to just take a photo, please do. Your AOV is 20 to 30 euro. So this is for products that are running like a buy one for 14.95 or buy one get one free for 19.95. You want a CPC of no more than 1 euro. Yeah, fair enough, it's a third metric, so if everything else is good, then it's fine. But your CPC, use this as a rough benchmark. Don't just solely cut because your CPC is like a 1 euro 20 cent. Again, if you have a CPC of 1 euro 20 cent and my CPA is like 2 euro or 3 euro or profitable, I'm gonna continue running. These are just benchmarks for yourself. CPC needs to be under 1 euro. CPM is under 40 euro. If you're sitting on CPMs that are like 80, 90 euro, you have done something wrong with your ads. Click-through rate minimum has to be 3%. If you're getting below a 3%, you need to go back to your CPN and CPC. Maybe you're getting a low CPM, so that's fine. But if you're sitting on a normal CPM and a normal CPC and your click-through rates are like below a 3%, you need to work on your creatives. At the cart cost, again, what we've seen is for products range between 20 to 30 euro, their add to cart cost is about 5 euros. So anything over than that, you have to do some work there. And as simple as that. CPA is 25 euro. Most of you guys on your buy one, for example, if you're running a buy one, buy two, get one free, you could have a gross margin of like 15 euro. You're pushing most sales to your buy two, get one free. And your break even could be like 20, 21 euro. So if you're getting a CPA of like 25, it's not bad, it's good. You can always improve. The most important thing you have to understand is when you go ahead and run a test, you're new to this test, as I was explaining earlier, but get this into your head. You don't know what works for this product. You don't know what offer works for this product. You don't know what angles work for this product. So if you're getting any near enough these metrics, if you're break even, that's why I say dive into it. Don't give up on a product just because you've lost 10 euro. If you're making sales on a product test that is not optimized and you don't know what's working, you can literally scale this to literally 100K next week. You just gotta find the right setup. That is all testing is. As I mentioned, every single product will sell. You just gotta find the right setup for it. Simple as that. So.
Before you scroll, I'll just take a quick picture there.
Huh?
A quick picture there.
Oh, of course. Now, just some more media buying for you guys, because I know a lot of you guys need some help with media buying. But what if our metrics look like this after day one? Amount spent is 50 euro. Your CPC is 71 cent. Your CPM is according, right? Yes, you're running lower at 2.3 or 2.32%, but your CPM is near enough okay. Your cost per add to cart's at 15 euro, but you have a 1.33 ROAS. You've literally found the winner. So you guys that are cutting products on this because you've lost maybe 10, 20 euro, go ahead and retest these, because all you gotta do is find the right angle, find exactly what's working, and you'll be able to get this to a this. What would you do in this situation if this is day one? Let it run for one more day. Maybe it's a bad day, maybe it's a Tuesday. Monday, Tuesdays are always the slowest days. So go ahead, let it run one more day. Maybe tomorrow it goes ahead and returns a lot more. Again, a lot of you guys will run and your products will be a 2-3 ROAS on the first day, but day two it just drops off. That's because you're only spending 50 euro. When you get to 500 euro, those results kind of even out. So really, really important. Don't cut products when you're near enough break even or have 1 or 2 sales. Go ahead, dive in. That's when you look at your click-through rates. Okay, I could definitely improve my click-through rates. I get that to a 4%, I double this ROAS to a 2 point, whatever. And then again, if you're straight off profitable based off your first test, what are you gonna do? You spend 64 euro, you got a 1.89, it's profitable. Go ahead, bump budgets. Go bump that CBO from a CBO 1, bump that to 100 euro if you're running 50 euro tests. More CBOs, and the same for this one up here. More CBOs. You're not going to see any different results if you don't test new things. If your CBO 1 has like a 1.3 ROAS or a 1.2, and even if you have a 1.9, if you're not constantly putting in new CBOs and new angles, you're going to be forever on that 1.89, and maybe it drops off because that's what creatives do. Go ahead, start making more of it. Go ahead, make more angles, more CBOs, more testing, and that's how you break out of it. So I'll get into everything now. So this is your testing phase, right? What do you test, right? Testing phase means test. What does that mean? For example, based off my offer, my winning product that I scaled like crazy to 7 figures, I was running a buy one, get one free at the start. Then what I did was, it was break even, it was maybe a bit profitable, but I could never get it out of the scaling phase. I was scaling, okay, to a 1.8 ROAS one day, then I bumped those budgets to 200, to a 300 euro a day, and then they'd fall off. Like a lot of you guys, what you've seen, that falls off to like a 0.5 or a 0.6 and it's unprofitable. And it's a pain, it's just a pain. So what do? You have to test every single one of these before you give up on a product. This is what I was saying, is if your product is, like every single product will sell, so if you're getting sales, don't just give up on it, test it, test new offers. I've seen people go from a buy one, buy two, get one free, and they changed it to a buy one, get one free, and they scaled like crazy. It's the same as me. I was making good ads, I had a great product, but if I just gave up on it because I didn't want to put in the work or I didn't understand how to put in the work, and I didn't change that offer, then I would have not even built that brand to 7 figures. So, new offers. If your add to cart rate is good, but you're getting low sales, so let's say go into your Shopify metrics. If you're on a 10% add to cart rate, but your conversion rate's like 0.5%, 0.5%, then what you gotta do? Test a new offer. Because the number one reason why people don't check out, while people add to cart, let's say you have 100 add to carts, 50 reach checkout, but only 5 buy, which is 1%, it's because of your offer. 9 times out of 10, it's either shipping or your offer. And shipping is fine. We've scaled literally 7 figures. Every single person I've seen is most likely 9 times out of 10 running a shipping offer. So don't worry too much about the shipping, but make your offer better. Give the people a reason to buy. When they're on that checkout and they're entering their card details, they have about 30 seconds to go ahead and make that decision. Do I really want it? And all you have to do is give them a reason why they should go ahead and buy it. And that's with your offers. So make an irresistible offer. When you go ahead and see your test, when you go ahead and see the offer you've made for yourself, you need to want to buy it. That's how you make a good offer. Don't just run some terrible offers. So if your add to cart is good, no sales, test new offers. Simple as that. All you gotta do is literally break down your metrics and then test accordingly. New ads plus angles. When do you test this? If your click-through rate is low, if you're sitting on a 2 or a 3% click-through rate, new ads, new angles. If your hook rate is low, if you have sales and you have add to carts, but you're sitting on a 15% hook rate, what does that mean? Go ahead, test new hooks. Go ahead, test new stuff. It's as simple as that. Your hook rate's low, test new hooks. Your click-through rate's low, test new call to actions. You're getting no sales but high add to carts, change up your offer. Simple. And then if people, again, you can also go into your metrics, go ahead and look at your Facebook, and let's say your ad is like 30 seconds, then there's an option to see how many people actually watch fully. It doesn't matter, sorry, about the generation or the duration, but go ahead, set up a metric in Facebook. It's like how many people fully watch your video. And if you have like a 10% fully watch rate, then go ahead and change up your body, get more people to watch that full ad. So it's simple as this. Go ahead, find your metrics, understand them, and then work accordingly to that. That's it. Click-through rate's low, better ads. Simple as. Now, when you're in the testing phase, this is also very important. This is also what I set up to scale past what I was doing. Your email flows, your upsells, your Google ads, your everything else is gonna come out to about 30% additional revenue. So when you're in a break-even phase, when you're testing and you can't scale past 300 euro a day or 400 euro a day, and you don't have your email flows or your upsells or your TikTok or Google ads in place, what do you do? With this 30% extra, you're making an extra, let's say you do 500 euro a day. You're doing 500 euro a day without any of your flows, your backends basically. With your backends, you're doing 650 euro a day. But you're not just doing an extra 150 euro in revenue. This is all generated with no ads. So you have the highest margin on this 150 euro extra. For example, 150 euro, instead of getting like a 20 or 30% margin, you're getting that at like a 70% margin because you're not paying for your email flows or your upsells. These are just your backends. So when you're testing, get your email flows in place. Welcome series, abandoned cart. Basically what an abandoned cart is when a customer doesn't check out, they'll get maybe 4 or 5 different emails, which you can go ahead and reclaim that customer. Your upsells, if you're not adding any upsells in your products, you're missing out. Now, a lot of you guys may have directed checkout. That is also a thing you have to really look at because you don't actually have the chance to place an upsell. So if you don't run direct to checkout and when someone goes ahead and presses add to cart, a cart pops up, you have the opportunity to put in upsells. If you run direct to checkout and you press add to cart and it goes directly to that checkout, you have to find different ways of adding upsells. Post-purchase, you can download an app which allows you to put these upsells after they purchase. And all they have to do is just click a button or something like that and they buy. Or you can go back to your email flows and set up a post-purchase email flow. What does that do? Whenever someone goes ahead and makes a purchase, they get a sequence of 4 different emails which is saying, listen, today you can add this product for 50% off. And if half the people that sees this goes ahead and actually adds this upsell, then boom, you're back into profit. It's a simple change just like this. TikTok. How many people are running a test right now? Just put your hands up. And keep your hands up if you're still running TikTok. Right, half you guys dropped off. So, if you see some kind of success with Facebook, get that onto TikTok because Facebook and TikTok are 2 different channels. Facebook, yes, while everyone is still on TikTok, Facebook is more for the older generation, while TikTok is more for a younger generation. Now, I'm not saying people won't buy on, if you're selling an older product, people won't buy on TikTok. That is absolutely false. There is still older people on TikTok, but they are 2 different platforms. Facebook, something may work on Facebook, but it may work even better on TikTok. So if you're seeing some kind of results, get that onto TikTok. We've seen some crazy stuff where people are getting like 8-9 ROAS on TikTok. So all you gotta do is, it doesn't require anything except an extra 50 euro budget of testing. But you can do that if you're looking to break out of that testing phase. Copy your best CBOs over on Facebook to TikTok. Run it on TikTok. Make sure your tracking is in place. Don't run off these SB pixels and Tixel and stuff like that. While it's okay for testing, if you want to go ahead and actually start scaling, you need to know exactly where your purchases are coming from. So go ahead and set up WeTracked. That is basically going to help you get 98% accurate tracking, which will allow you to scale. So you know where every single purchase will come from, where every single ad purchase will come from, or which ads are driving the sales. Because if you don't know your metrics, then you're just losing money. And if you don't know where you're actually getting sales from, you are losing money. So this is very important. Email flows, upsells, TikTok, and Google Ads. Google Ads is retargeting. Now this is for basically people who have already branched out a bit, not so much testing, but when you set up your Google Ads, it's retargeting. When you search up, now this is very important, when you have a brand, let's just call it flamingo.com, right? And it's new, and when someone sees your product, let's say it's sun cream, or let's say it's a collagen mask, and they go ahead and search up your collagen mask flamingo, because they obviously had something to do, they remember your brand name, but they didn't purchase right there and then. When they search up collagen mask flamingo, your site, because it's new, 9 times out of 10 does not pop up, and you've just lost that sale. It will either go to Amazon or a different competitor. And you do not want that to happen. So when you get past your 300, 400 euro a day, you can set up Google Ads because it's retargeting. If you're still on testing phase and you set up Google Ads, not many people know your brand or want to search it up. So it's pointless. But when you're sitting on like 500 to 1,000 euro a day and anything above that, you need to set up Google Ads. How it works is it's a search campaign. When someone searches up your brand, you're paying Google. Listen, Google, I'm going to give you 50 cents for every person that clicks through to my website when they search up my brand. So you're going to get a first listing. When you search up collagen mask flamingo, instead of Amazon popping up, your brand will pop up because that's who you are. That's what they're searching. That's how Google works. Google's not going to show Amazon over you if they're searching Black Flamingo or the College of Mass Flamingo. Do you know what I mean? So that's that. These are very important. If you don't have any of this stuff, once you implement it, you can literally scale. And that's all you need. All you need is that tiny bit of profit to go ahead and scale even further. Now, scaling out of your testing phase. Again, we're going to get through this. This is more for testing. Then we're going to get into how you can scale to 7 figures. So really important. How to scale out of your testing phase. Horizontal and vertical scaling. Horizontal scaling is making more CBOs. Vertical scaling is bumping your budgets directly on your CBOs. And for some reason, people will go ahead and run a test and it's profitable, and then they go ahead and duplicate those winning ads into a new CBO and all this weird stuff. No, just keep it simple. If you have something that's working and you're sitting on a winning CBO, go ahead and make more variations of that CBO. That's exactly how you scale out horizontally. You make, for example, when we see a brand scaling, people else who are in this group that are scaling, they'll have 5 to 8 CBOs running at the same time, not just one CBO. So you don't scale off just one CBO. If you're scaling off one CBO, it's a completely different ad strategy that we are not running. So let's keep things simple. If you have something that's working, go ahead, duplicate and make more CBOs. Now in your new CBOs you're making, it all has to be new creatives. Don't copy your winning ad into this new CBO. If it's already working, then just leave it into that CBO. Vertical scaling, go ahead and bump your budgets. You're sitting on 50 euro a day, go to 100 euro a day. 100 to 200, given it still performs, 200 to 400. Simple as that. Now continue increasing every single night. Have a look at your Facebook. If I'm profitable, double those budgets. Minimum 1 new CBO a day for horizontal scaling. Let me tell you this, right? For people who are scaling now and for people who are testing already, there are people out there, actual brand owners, like bigger brand owners who are pushing $1 million months. They're putting out 40, 50 different creatives every single day. So when you come in with your 5 creatives a day, how can you expect to compete with these guys? Yeah, you could probably compete at 10K a month in revenue, but I know every single one of you guys want to go further than that and actually see that success. So you need to put in not average input. You need to go the extra mile. Go ahead and make 20 creatives a day. When you're scaling, Dan, when you're scaling, Vic scaling, Maddie, when you're scaling, go ahead and put out 20, 30 creatives a day. Don't just sit on your 5 creatives and your 8 creatives. Go ahead and input it. And this is where I'm going to jump into it more, how you can actually go input 50 creatives a day. Because I don't expect, and like even when I was in it, I'm not making 50 creatives a day. I can't even make 50 creatives a day. If I woke up and the whole day I was making creatives, I'd probably get 15 done, 15 or 20. So it's impossible to make 50 creatives on your own. So that's when we're going to get into a bit more. But that's what you got to do. Minimum is 1 CBO a day when you're scaling. When you start or getting out into the scaling phase. When you're scaling, I need minimum 2. And then, so when you have your backends in place, mixed in with your good offer, mixed in with everything else that I've just explained over the last however long I've been chatting, you are going to scale. It's as simple as this. I'm not saying this stuff. I didn't make this stuff off my head. I spent the last 4 years. I've seen all you guys do it. I've seen other people do it. I've chatted with guys who are pushing 8 figures. This is how you're going to scale. Of course, other people will scale differently. Of course, other people will scale with just 1 CBO. But this is what's worked for us. It's worked numerous amount of times. You're going to be able to replicate the same results, given you just don't do anything different, but just stick at it. And be creative with it as well. When I just said don't just copy exactly what we're doing, you don't necessarily have to. We've seen also other guys test different stuff outside the box, and they've also seen results with that. So all you got to do, how easy is dropshipping? Find what works, double down on it. It's as simple as that. Now, scaling to 7 figures. This one is really important. This is for after the testing phase. Right. Comes back to the mindset switch. This is very important. This is everything you're going to do. So listen up, because even if you're not at that 5-figure mark yet, you're going to be at that soon. So this is very important. This is how you're going to scale from 5 to 7 figures. Starts with your mindset. Then we're going to get into a different media buying strategy. Content systems. Maintaining your scale. Happy days if you push 10K a day, but what happens if you drop back down to 500 euro a day? What's the point in that? So how are you going to maintain that? How are we going to break into new markets? Because I know a lot of you guys are still on the one market, but you can't expect this Q4 to go do $1 million in revenue scaling in one market. It's not going to happen. And then how you're going to hire a team and how you're going to build for an exit. Because I'm not teaching you guys how to build a pump and dump dropshipping store. This is other groups do that. We're teaching you how to build a proper brand, a proper asset that you can later literally exit down the line. So all you got to do is just listen to this. This is golden information right here. So, starts with the mindset. Very, very important. You have your first mindset switch in getting into where you need to be and get into scaling. But then you have your second mindset switch when you're going into proper business. So you have to understand, you're building a real brand. As I just mentioned, you're not just building a pump and dump dropshipping store which will die out in 2 months. If you structure and do this correctly, your brand could literally last about 3-5 years. It could literally turn into a full-time brand. We have brands like, does anyone know the Uddy in Australia? You know? Yeah. They've done like, I think over 80 million in revenue, 100 million. Like Bleen, for example, the website that I use, they've crushed in probably over 20-30 million. And if they wanted to exit one of their brands, they could probably exit for 15-20 million. So you guys are listening to these numbers. I'm listening to these numbers. I'm like, what is he yapping on about? This is real e-commerce. I'm not just teaching you guys how to pump and dump a dropshipping store. I'm teaching you guys how to structure this so you can go ahead and leave that job, leave your college, and actually full-time go into e-commerce, hire a team and become a business owner. It does not come from 50% input. It comes from full input and going into this. So you're building a real brand. Start to restructure. You're not going to be able to do it on your own. You need VAs, you need customer care support, you need a lot of things to get this done. Now, while you can take this very far, the person who has, right, let's say every single day you're putting in 8 hours work. That's great. But that other person who's hired a team, who has 10 members on their team, is putting 80 hours of work. So how are you going to compete with that? You can't. So you need a team as well. So I'm going to break that down. So you're building a real brand. It's a real asset. You can later exit down the line, right? It's not a pump and dump dropshipping store. You're building it. You structure correctly. Your social medias, your everything, which I'll break down. You're going to be able to exit this brand. Now, you're a business owner. As I was saying, you can't be doing all this work alone, right? I know a lot of you guys who are starting to scale up, but all you do is make creatives. How are you going to get to the next level of 200, 300K consistently a month if you're a video editor? You guys are not video editors. You guys are not product research people. You're business owners. So when you get to the stage, yes, you're going to have to do it all at your start because there's no way you're going to be able to outsource something that you don't understand. So you need to go ahead and learn how to do this product research. You need to know how to make good ads. And then when you get to a certain stage where you start scaling up and you're actually making consistent money, then you can go ahead and start outsourcing. Very important. Smart work as well as hard work. You've got past that stage of testing, which is hard work. I won't lie. I've seen you guys put in 16-hour shifts, 12-hour shifts, constantly making new ads, boom, boom, boom. That is called hard work. But when you get to a certain point, that hard work, yes, it's very important, but the smart work is also very important. So you need to start making these moves, bigger moves, different kind of moves. Not so much, oh, how do I make a better ad script? But if I outsource my time, I'm spending 6 hours a day on ads. If I outsource that to video editors and I just give them the scripts and they actually make better ads than myself because they're video editors, you guys are not video editors, then you can free up your time so you can focus more on the better stuff or the more important stuff while they scale up. Yes, you're going to pay maybe 50, 60, 70 euro a day, but you're going to go ahead and free up a lot of time. And when you're profiting 1 or 2K a day in profit, 70 euro is what? It's not nothing, but it's a very low cost, which will free up your time, which is the most important thing. So this is everything that we're going to go through right now. So what is our media buying strategies to get to our 7 figures? Because it's going to change up now. Starting off with Facebook itself, right? As I was saying, you guys were putting out one CBO every single day. As I mentioned, there's agencies, there's brands, there's other people who are pushing 1 million a month, 2 million, 10 million a month. They are not doing that by putting out 1 CBO a day. They're not doing that putting out 2 CBOs a day. They're doing it by putting 50 creatives a day, 500 creatives a week. There's this mushroom coffee brand. I forgot what it's called, but I went onto their ads library and they had like 16,000 different ads. And you guys are sitting here like, how can I push up to that level? And then you can go to your ads library and you have like 100 ads. Who's going to see more success? The person who has 16,000 ads or you who has 100 ads? Do you get what I mean? So it takes time. I don't expect you to go make 16,000 ads tonight, but you need to basically input more on your creatives. How you're going to scale your brand to the next level is simply by your creatives. Like even the guys who are pushing 8 and 9 figures every single month, it's all based around their creative and their ad strategies and their content. Now, of course, they have a lot of systems in place. It's a lot more advanced, but this is what we're going to break down. So I need minimum 2 to 3 CBOs every single day. If it's taking too much of your time, that's when you go ahead and outsource. Don't procrastinate on it. Don't say, okay, I'm going to do it now or do it later. Go get it done. You want to take the next step? go ahead, outsource it, go ahead, get those two creatives or 2 CBOs up every single day, because I can guarantee you, how I scaled out, I was sitting on I was scaling like very aggressively, and it was probably at like 500K at this point in revenue. I dropped down to a 1 ROAS, and how that got back up was 3 CBOs every single day. So that's what you need to do. Now, change budgets every single night. Simple as, right? When you're going in, the media buying for Facebook will stay the same. Go ahead every single night at midnight, have a look at your metrics. Am I profitable? Am I above a 2 ROAS? If I am, go ahead and scale it. If I'm not, and it's like a near enough break even, let it sit for a day. If it's unprofitable, just drop the budgets back down. It's quite simple with media buying. Seriously, scaling to the next level is all about systems. And if you have messy systems, and if you are too much going on here, it's going to be very hard for you to scale. So keep your media buying for Facebook simple. Very simple. Profitable, scale. Unprofitable or a tiny bit profitable, leave the same. Unprofitable, bump down or cut all together. Maybe go have a look at your last 3 days. If this CBO was just not performing the last 3 days, just cut it. Now, TikTok. TikTok is a very different strategy. What we do on TikTok, now you guys who are scaling will obviously understand this, but what you have to do with TikTok is literally surf the campaigns. Facebook campaigns could last like 3 to 4 weeks. TikTok CBOs and campaigns could literally last 1 day. When we were scaling up, again, one of these brands, what I was doing was I would run like a batch of new ads. So it would, let's say I'd upload day 100, I would upload 3 new CBOs. If they performed, I would go ahead and either turn them off that night and then download and duplicate like 3 or 4 or 5 times. So if you want to get to the next level and spend, you have to understand TikTok works completely different. If you have a working CBO, don't just scale 1 CBO. Go ahead, duplicate it 5 times. Go ahead, take that CBO and literally just duplicate it 5 times, because it's definitely not the same as Facebook. When you're starting to scale on Facebook, if you start bumping budgets midday with Facebook, I know people that do it, but for me, my results just crumbled. With TikTok, you could literally bump 2 or 3 times throughout the day. So let's say I run a CBO 10 on TikTok and I run it at €100. That day at like 12 p.m., if it's like on a 3 ROAS, I'm gonna bump 100 to 200. Then I'm gonna look at 4 p.m. Am I still profitable with TikTok? I'm still sitting on a 2.5 ROAS at like €200 in spend. Then I'm gonna bump that to €500. And then by the end of the night, I could be on like €700 with that campaign. Now, make sure it's very important to drop those budgets back when you go ahead into the next day, because those campaigns will literally die that day that you run them. With TikTok, completely different with Facebook. Facebook is easy. Just go ahead, bump them. Some campaigns will last probably 2 weeks. And if they start dying off, refresh them with new creatives. With TikTok though, you're going to be able to scale very aggressively. Now, you can go ahead and, I know there's like guys that will push like 5K in 1 day from like the first testing product with TikTok. So it's very important you understand how TikTok is. Bump it, scale aggressively, be aggressive with your budget changes. €100, go to 250 if it's profitable. Some of you guys are like running 9 ROAS and stuff like that, which is great. You're sitting on like 50, 60% profit margins, but would you rather sit on 50, 60% profit margins, or would you rather go ahead and sit on 30% profit margins at like 10K a day versus 50 to 60% profit margins at 1K a day? Do you know what I mean? You just have to go ahead and take it to the next level. Now, this is what I mean. I'm gonna break down new markets after. You're not gonna be able to scale super like crazy, like instantly overnight when you're in a market with 5 million people. So you need to start branching out into new markets if you wanna do so. Again, CBOs literally last 1 or 2 days, it's crazy. So here are the benchmarks for you guys who are scaling a bit more aggressive. Deep bump campaigns over the last 1 or 2 days if you're below 1.4 ROAS. Let's say your break-even ROAS is a 1.4. Double those budgets if your campaign are sitting above a 2+ ROAS. Simple as, it's kind of the same as testing. Secondary metrics if you're unsure. Let's say one campaign is sitting on a 1 ROAS and you're deciding will I debump, but then you actually look and you're at the cart cost is the normal, it's sitting on a €3. Then that day could just be a bit slower for that campaign. So don't debump it. Because when you start debumping it, you're losing that momentum on a campaign. Do you know what I mean? Think about it. If you're running a CBO, it goes from €100 to 200 to 400 to 800, you're building up momentum. But let's say you're going from 100 to 200 and you're about to go to 400, but then I'm gonna pull it back a bit, I'm gonna just keep it at 200 because I didn't get that desired ROAS. But if you just had a look and your click-through rates were fine, your add to cart was still the same from the last 2 days, and you go ahead and debump it, you're losing that momentum. So you have to be very strategic when you're going ahead and bumping these campaigns. It's not just simple bumping and stuff like that, but the overall bumping is just go ahead. This is very important. Secondary metrics, please have a look at them, because it's not just bumping off your ROAS, it's bumping based off your add to carts, your click-through rates and stuff like that. Very important. Now, your content systems. This is, again, how you're going to scale to the next level is not by just doing what you're doing, it's by implementing systems. How are people managing in a company 100 employees? They have systems. If I said go manage 100 employees right now, how are you going to do that? You have no systems in place. So I'm going to break down a content system for you guys now, right? When you get to scaling, you're not just running, basic UGC. The reason why UGC doesn't work in Ireland, for example, is because you guys are running like US UGC. UGC where they have an American accent. Of course that's not going to relate to like an Irish market. Same if I was running to Germany. If I run an English accent in a German country, they're just not going to relate. Unless it's the best product and it's something they've never seen before, it's not going to hit. So one of you guys, like a lot of you guys have not seen one person do it yet, and this is how you're going to get to the next level. But when you have working angles, you already know what works. Go ahead and start chatting with people that are looking to make videos for your ads. Go ahead and get in contact with influencers. Now this is again for people who are scaling. Like given you're scaling, you already have money to work with. So why are you going ahead and just running the same thing over and over again? Go ahead and start reaching out to some influencers. What I like to use, again, it's more for the big five, is Influy. Influy is a website where it connects like lots of creators together. You can set up a campaign and get out to like 100 different creators from Australia, US, UK, and they'll literally go ahead and make you an ad. You pay them 20, 30, 40 euro. They'll make you an ad based off whatever you tell them. You can make it like, there's different styles of UGC. There's review style, there's just checking it out style, there's like an offer-based style, and then there's the styles that you tell them. So if you're sitting there and just being comfortable with your AI ads, yes, it's going to get you somewhere, but you want to get to the next level, go ahead, get your UGC. And this is going to set you up for an exit as well. You're not going to be able to exit a brand if you have no assets. I'm going to break it down into the next slide, but you need to build your assets. So let's say I'm going to go buy one of you guys' stores, and I come in and I'm like, okay, show me what you got. And you're just running off some standard UGC and you don't have any crazy UGC that's branded yours, then I'm not going to buy it. Anyone else can just do what you're doing. Be different. Go ahead and start building now. This is for the guys who are scaling. Doesn't matter when you haven't found that product yet. Just listen. Just keep this in mind. But when you guys are scaling, how you're setting yourself up for a pump and dump store where it's just going to die off is by not implementing these systems. When you don't have any UGC in place, when you don't have any custom packaging in place, when you don't have your brand, then it's not a brand. So go ahead, gather this UGC. One way I know for a fact, and I'm going to literally tell you guys, for the guys who are scaling, if you are not getting your Irish UGC and working with Irish creators, whoever does it first will scale 10 times harder, because your AI is working, your scripts are working, but what works, like people, like 50% know it's AI, everyone can hear it's AI, but people will know if it's a real voice. So if you actually have a real Irish influencer or an Irish UGC person who's going ahead and actually talking about your product, breaking down and speaking about a script that worked for you, you're literally going to push a 3, 4, 5 ROAS. Don't be lazy with it. Go ahead, contact them on TikTok. Influy is for the big five, UK and stuff like that. Now, when I'm talking about how are you going to push to 40 to 50 creatives, you need to give it to an editor. Go ahead and start hiring and stuff like that. You need to break down, where is my time going? I've pushed 30K profit last month. What am I doing? Where am I doing? And if you're still sitting making creatives, that's something you can outsource. Now, it's not just hire an editor and then that's it. You have to train them up and let them be better than you. You guys are business owners, not editors, right? For example, this is just about creatives. How are you going to make better creatives and build an actual brand if you're just sitting 8 hours every single day? Let the person who's already an editor, which is his job, do it. For example, we have the guy who's filming right now. I'm not doing that because I don't do that. So it's the same for making creatives. Yes, you have to make them to a certain point and understand what works, but when you make money, outsource it. Train that editor up. Get 3, 4, 5 creators or editors, and then that's how you're going to push 50 creators every single day. And then, how you're going to maintain your scale is by rotating new creators in. So if you start scaling and your brand starts to drop off, it's quite simple. Rotate new angles, new creators in. Try something different. But if you want some game, this one right here, UGC, but Irish UGC. That's going to literally change the game for you guys. And then when you start breaking out into new markets, which I'll cover in, Then you go ahead and start getting, let's say you're running US, then you go get US UGC. Then simple media buying, scale and cut. That's how you're going to revive everything. Now breaking into new markets. Well, literally, we're going to get some coffee after this at the end of the room, but 2 more points that I want to go over, really important. So listen, please listen to this. When you're scaling, you're coming into Q4 now and you want to go push your $1 million months. You want to go push 100K. You want to go push 30K in a day. It's not going to be done with a small population. You'll see yourself when you start scaling up. If you just scale in Ireland, you're going to run into issues, as in you won't have enough people to scale to. If you're not scaling to, if you're not hitting, let's say your audience is 5 million and you're trying to scale to 40, 50K days, you're not going to be able to with just one market. So if you see online, people are pushing 100K, 200K a day, they're doing it in like bigger markets. Australia, US, for example, I don't know what the correct or the specific population, but it's like 100 times of Ireland, or like 80 times. You have 80 times more people to sell to. Of course you're going to be able to do 80 times more revenue. It's the same as Australia. Australia is a great market. UK is a great market. Now there's certain markets, right, you have to be careful of. EU and stuff like that. There's certain like taxes and stuff like that you need to dive into. Again, I can't give you any like proper advice on that because I'm not an accountant, but dive into that. Have a look at it. I know EU is amazing markets to sell to. You guys are selling right here, but EU is basically, they're all kind of the same country except just different languages. You can go ahead and just run up every single one of those countries as long as you change out your languages and be local to that market. Go ahead, let's say something's working in Ireland, go bring that same stuff to Germany, for example, and go ahead, get German UGC, but be careful, like there is certain VAT laws and stuff like that you need to look into. Now, of course, let's just say taking EU, for example, you can't run the same English ad, you have to change it up to Germany, localize that ad. It's, with Big Five, you have US, Australia, New Zealand, they're all like English speaking countries, so you can run like UGC in it, which should work fine. So retest what is working right now into those new markets if you want to start breaking into new markets. Don't be lazy with it. If Big Five doesn't work, go into the EU. What about other markets? You think like Ireland's the only market or Big Five's the only market? What about Singapore? What about Hong Kong? What about Asia? How many guys have actually ran there? How many guys have even ran to the EU? How many guys have actually ran to the Big Five? Now, when you're starting off, what we like to say, just run with your local market because you can get that validation and then go into the new markets. Don't start with these markets because the Big Five has a lot of competition. EU, while it doesn't have as much as the Big Five, it definitely has more than Ireland. Other countries, Asia and stuff like that, you could definitely test it, but Big Five is for more advanced. When you have something that works, go ahead and start trying to break into those bigger markets. Be on it though. Stuff that's working right now may not work in your other market. You have to understand, Ireland is more like an EU market. It is an EU market. So the stuff that you or put into an EU market from Ireland is most likely going to work. If you bring the stuff that's working from Ireland to the Big Five, to the US, it's completely different. So don't expect results when you do that. But you could definitely see results when you go from Ireland to EU. Now again, be careful with everything like that. But Big Five, what really works in Big Five is like UGC content. American UGC works very well where they actually talk about like all my scaling. To be brutally honest with you guys, when I was scaling, I was only running Big Five and that was all UGC. So you have to mess around with it, see what works and double down. So more UGC is obviously in this market. I'd say AI would work very well, but if you can get local UGC, you guys are gonna print. Like if you wanna take it to the next level, you wanna run in Germany, go get German UGC. This is a proper brand. You'd have all this content that you can make around and it's an actual brand now. Everything's customized instead of just running some stuff. This is for the next level anyway. Structure pricing correctly. When you run to EU or the Big Five, you need to go into your markets, change up everything and make sure everything's localized. That's very important. So that's breaking into new markets. Again, just test it, see what works and double down on it. Now hiring, right? We have hiring and then I think one more point and we'll go get some coffee. Hiring, you need to break down where your hours are going in your day, as I mentioned before. Now this is only when you go ahead and start scaling and make like 5K, 10K profit a month. If you're not making that yet, then you just have more costs. You can do a lot of this stuff yourself. But your first hire is going to be customer care. You guys, every single one of you guys are definitely not customer care agents. So why are you spending 1 or 2 hours replying to customer emails? This stuff you can hire off Upwork or Fiverr or I think onlinejobs.ph, which are like people from Philippines, for like €3-4 a day. So if you're making 500 euro profit a day, you allocate 1% of that budget and you save 2 hours of your time. And especially when you start scaling up, you cannot do that. I did this before, and I'm going to tell you of my mistakes. I'm spending maybe 4 or 5 hours every single day just answering emails, which is pointless. That will cost me 30 euro if I outsourced it. So customer care, outsource from the start. Editor is going to be your second hire. You're going ahead and, yeah, you can make your 12, your 16 creatives every single day, but you want to get to the next level, you want to go push your 500K a month, you need to get 50 creatives a day. You need to push 50 different angles every single day, and you're not going to be able to do that on your own. So editors, don't just hire these people. Hire them and look for people that are actually willing to learn. You can hire someone who's just an editor and they have 10 other jobs. They don't care if they work for you. That's not a hire. You want someone who's an 18 player who actually wants to work and build up your brand. So you need to train them up, for an example. You need to make them better at you. They already understand how to use CapCut. They already understand, what your business is. For example, look for a dropshipping editor, but make him, work for you, as in make sure he wants to work for you. Make sure he's down to actually scale up your brand, and they're the people you look for. Train them up. He's going to be much better at you at making ads. He's going to be quicker. He's going to make better quality, given you train them up correctly. Now, it takes time. It's just like training, someone else up. You actually have to go ahead and teach them, record the videos, go ahead and get on a call with him. Make sure he actually understands everything, and you'll be fine with that. So editors, go ahead, get 1, 2, 3 of them, 4 of them if you want. VAs. This VA is just a virtual assistant. They're going to help you with other tasks. For example, if you have to do some bookkeeping, if you need to go ahead and make sure your P&Ls are in place, if you need to go ahead and do the daily tasks that you don't want to do, then hire a VA. Again, this comes when you're scaling a bit more aggressive. There's no point in you doing that stuff. You need to allocate your time wisely. You don't have 1 million hours or unlimited hours in a day. Most of you guys, let's say you're consistently working hard, you're going to have 8 hours of focused work every single day. Now, if you're allocating that to 2 hours to customer care, 3 hours to ads, 1 hour to doing the stuff that's not growing your business will start slowing down, because the people that are prioritizing growth are focusing on the growth. So this is what you guys need to do as business owners, is to focus on growth. And being honest, is replying to emails focusing on growth? No. Is editing ads? Yes, but you can scale it aggressively. Is, doing your P&Ls, for example, focused on driving that business to the next level? While it is important to understand where your money goes, it's not directly affecting your scale. So, and then a creative strategist is last. They're basically people who can go ahead and help your editors organize the ads, give you better scripts and stuff like that. That's more last. Your top 2 are going to be customer care, editor, and then VA if you need, and then creative strategist. Now, last one, building for an exit, and then we'll get some, then we'll get some food. Right, building for an exit. What do you need to build for? You can't just exit a dropshipping brand. You have to understand as well, right? There are people that are out there that have capital, that have budget, that are looking to buy these brands because they don't want to sit down and test. So before you get into a mindset where it's like, oh, I'm just going to run a product and that's it. It's a pump in them store. No, you have to understand that these are real brands that you can build and actually exit down the line. But you have to build the value. You have to build the value inside this brand. You can't just run a pump and dump store and don't change anything and don't have any systems in place and have nothing there. No one wants that. Just know that people are willing to buy. There's literally brokers out there. There's people that are hungry to give you money, given that your business will print and given that you have opportunity to scale. So what do people look for when they buy? Upward trends. If your sales are slowing down, you're going to drop that multiple big time. Let's say in dropshipping, let's say you're actually more of a sustained brand that's been running 2 years, you could probably get a 2 on your yearly profit, for example. But most dropshipping brands just look at a 1 on your 1 to a 2 on your yearly profit. So let's say your brand does 100K in profit a year. You could look for an exit. If it's consistent, if it's only a year, then you're looking at about 100 to 150 for an exit. But if this brand has been doing 100K 1 year, then 200K the next year, then your multiple is going to be a lot. It's obviously a lot more. But they look for, are your sales slowing down? You're going to get your highest multiple when your sales are going up. Think about it. Would someone want to buy a brand that's on the downcline, even though it could be just a slow month? No. So look for your exits. Q4, coming into Q3, Q2. Q1 is more of a slower time, right? Because everything starts to slow down. So what do they look for? Are sales slowing down? Can they scale further? And can they exit down the line? If people understand and they're like, I can go ahead and buy his brand for 200K, I'll make 100K profit, but I can build and outsource a team to build that to 300K profit and exit for 600K profit down the line. For an example, That's what they look for. They look for the opportunity in a brand. They don't just look for a brand that's, yeah, great, you did 100K in revenue, but how's it going to do in the next 3 months? They look into the future. So make sure your sales are going up. You can scale further. You have opportunity with new markets and stuff like that to scale even higher. Again, has value. Your social media presence. This is the stuff. Social media presence is huge. Your email list. If you have 100,000 customers in your email list, you're just thinking, wow, that's a great number. That right there is probably worth 100 grand. Think about it. If you have an email list of 100,000 people, and out of that email list, everyone will, let's say 10 or 5% will buy, but your average revenue, how much money you make per customer is about like €1, then if everyone generates, if you send out 100,000 emails and you get €1 back from every single customer, because it's an average, maybe 10 people buy, the other 20 don't, your email list is literally worth 100 grand, even more, because you can send out multiple emails. So these are the stuff you need to build for. Social media presence, email lists, build your backend, your systems, have a team. If someone came along and you have a brand, and listen, you can go take this brand, it has editors, it has VAs, it has everything, and all you have to do is just manage them every single week and you'll make 100K a week. They'll literally give you $1 million right there. Okay, 100K profit, then they'll give you like 300K, just to make it a bit more sense. So give them something where they don't even have to work. Some people may want to jump in and build their own teams. If you have a full team already in place, you have an actual business. This is important. So is there more opportunity to scale with more SKUs? Everyone runs one product stores, but how are you going to get to the next level? Add more SKUs. Look at the Uddy, look at Bleem. Are they selling one product? They're focused around one product, but they have different SKUs. For example, if you're selling sun cream, you could sell sunglasses and turn it into a brand. Look at Kylie Jenner's brand. Look at all these big brands. They don't just sell one product. Yes, they have 1 or 2 main hero products, but they have other SKUs with them. So is there an opportunity to add more SKUs? Is there more opportunity to add into different markets? If there is, happy days. It means more value to your brand. How much time does it take to run? If you sell a brand and it takes, listen, you as the owner who just bought it, you have to sit there for 40 hours a week, and that's how you're going to maintain it. Boom, your multiple drops big time, because they actually have to put the work in. Most people, want to see an actual system where they can be like, listen, you just pay like 5 grand in payroll to your hires, and then you only have to put in 1 hour a day. Then they're like, okay, then they'll go ahead, your multiple will increase. So that's the opportunity with SKUs, markets, and then how much time does it run? Take a photo if you want to actually build for this. It can run long term, and it can sustain. This is what I was saying. If it can't sustain and it will die out in 2 months, then they're not going to buy it. And does it rely solely on paid advertising? All of you guys will rely solely on paid advertising. If you stopped your business, or if you stopped ads, you're probably going to get like 1 or 2 sales. That's probably it. So have a very secure media buying system. Don't rely on just one paid advertising platform. Don't just rely on Facebook. Don't just rely on TikTok. Have omni-channel, Google ads, Facebook, TikTok, Bing, whatever. That makes it a lot more secure. Even have an organic presence. Go ahead, start posting organic stuff. Go ahead, work with influencers. Go work with UGC creators. Tell them to post them. Set up affiliate links. Set up affiliate systems. Listen, if you go ahead and make a sale for us by just posting organically, we'll give you 30% of what you just made. Okay. Boom, 100 people go ahead and start posting videos about it. It goes viral. Yeah, you pay 30% to these creators, but you're making money then. You're not just relying on paid advertising. And then can everything be outsourced? Again, that just relies into more how much time you actually put into the brand. Because listen, no one's going to buy a brand unless they want to, but 9 times out of 10, no one wants to put like 40 hours into a brand because they have more budget. They're focusing on different projects as well. They want to outsource it. And then the last bit, right? Focus on making your system simple. Systems, right? Your media buying system, how you outsource your creatives, how you go ahead and get UGC people. These are all systems. Make them as simple as possible. If there's a system and it's like, yeah, you can make 100K profit a month, but you need to go ahead and do all this and da da da, and it's not simple, it reduces the stuff. It makes things more hard to make work. It spends more time into actually making work. So keep systems simple. Make sure there's more room to grow, and make sure everything is branded. They're the 3 main things you need to look for in an actual for an exit. Make sure everything is branded. That's like your custom packaging, your UGC and stuff like that. Now, where can you sell it? There's websites. There's like Flippa.com is like a place where people will list their Shopify stores. But given that you actually are making consistent cash flow, if you actually have profit 30, 40K every single month, you have a real asset there. You can go to a broker. There's people that want to actually buy it. There's brokers that will listen, we'll just give you 200K cash if you want to just sell it right now. So, really important. That is how you're going to scale if you're new and you're going to scale your first product, and that's how you're going to scale to 7 figures. So, have notes. We're going to do a Q&A at the end. I know a lot of you guys are thirsty now and you want some I don't know what's at the back, croissants or something like that. So that's a wrap up for a moment, and then we'll get into it after our break.